Live in a period in Igbo and in Nigeria where having a certificate has become an achievement rather than having a skill set, problem solving skills. I normally tell parents that when your children are still very young, maybe they finish secondary school when they are still 16, 17, 18, it is not a time to push them into the university cycle, push them into a place where they should learn a practical skill set for a year or 2 years. Studying mechanical engineering when the lecturers who are teaching you in that university do not know even how to change the gear of a vehicle, talk more of touching the engine, the practical touch of an engine of a vehicle. We take our children to universities to go and study pharmacy when most of the lecturers who are teaching them pharmacy itself have never worked in the pharmaceutical industry and only knows the mixture of elements and chemicals to get a particular drug without a practical knowledge of how it is done. We live in a period where every father's joy is seeing their children come home after 1 year, and then it is being announced that the child just came back from youth service, and then they go back to the labor market or the employment market with no certainty of actually acquiring a job. We live in a period in Igbo and in Nigeria where having a certificate has become an achievement rather than having a skill set, problem solving skills. Because I know that it is where the solution is, that is where money flows to. That is why we have a lot of engineers who do not know how to use the plumb. They do not even know how to cement a house. All right, but yet these are engineers. Meanwhile, we have a group of people who comes into Nigeria from Cotonou. Now they pack all the money. There is a huge capital flight. When you talk about those who have the skill set in civil engineering, you mention people like Cameroon and Cotonou, where they have institutions where they acquire practical skills on masonry, on carpentry, on woodwork, on metalworks. Meanwhile, here in Nigeria, everybody wants to be an engineer. Engineer Okechukwu Wato, Engineer Okechukwu Namane, without a practical knowledge of how to build a house. It is in Nigeria where which one will I say and leave the other? Which one will I say and leave the other? We've actually de-emphasized skill, and we've paid more attention to acquiring university degrees in Nigeria without practical skills. Those practical skills are lifesavers. They are life-changing skill set that when you acquire them, you can never go broke. All right? And that is why I normally tell parents that when your children are still very young, maybe they finish secondary school when they are still 16, 17, 18, it is not a time to push them into the university cycle, push them into a place where they should learn a practical skill set for a year or 2 years. If your child says she wants to actually go study computer engineering, why not take them to a place where they will learn coding? If your child tells you that he wants to go and study pharmacy, why not take them to a pharmaceutical store where he learns the basic element of it? Why not, if your child tells you that she wants to study nursing, you take her to places where they teach the basic knowledge of nursing? At least with school, and the auxiliary nurse. They should start from there. Why not, if your child tells you that he wants to study mechanical engineering, be it as it may, you can actually take that child to a place, maybe a mechanic workshop, by the ways. They should learn the rudiments of how to dismantle engine, how to fix even car suspensions, and all whatnot. After 2 years, they can now apply to JAMB and then get the university admission. You will understand that having a background knowledge of mechanic or having that practical knowledge will give them an engineering edge, even over their teachers. Apart from having that basic knowledge, it gives them a skill set that immediately after graduation, rather than going to waste 1 year in NYSC, he can start up his own workshop or still go for another refresher program, maybe 1 year, and then become self-employed. All right. Now, if we begin to emphasize our children acquiring handwork rather than them acquiring certificate, I can assure you and I can guarantee you that your children, majority of our children and kids, will be able to train themselves through school or see themselves through school rather than the dependency on the income of the parents. And it becomes a situation where if something happens to the parents, they become dropouts. The next thing they will do is they go to start looking for hotels to work or sales girls job to do. We must de-emphasize. I did not say eradicate. I said we must de-emphasize that certificate, because I believe if you go abroad, your certificate, yes, is acceptable. But what can you do is always the question. What can you do? What skill set do you have? We are in the type of economy that demands for skill, and those skill manpowers is already eluding us, especially here in Igbo land. Everybody wants to be a Yahoo boy, make it overnight. Everybody wants to do, just anything that gives them quick money, right?